This question is around how your scholarship and study of Buddhist text informs your approach to engaged Buddhism.
It seems they moved maybe along parallel tracks, but it wasn't so much that I was inspired by the study and scholarship to become involved in what they call engaged Buddhism. It's just that after I came, well, let us put it this way. Okay, when I was a monk, living as a monk in Sri Lanka during the early years, I took a sort of a very traditional Theravadan attitude towards the affairs of the world as just being worldly events, impermanent, dukkha, insubstantial. But in 1985, I was appointed the editor for the Buddhist Publication Society. This was in Kandy. And working alongside, at that time, my teacher was the elder German monk, Venerable Nyanaponika. And we would discuss the application of Buddhist principles to the various problems that the world is facing, problems of war, poverty, and so forth. And that sort of planted maybe the seeds of engagement in my mind. And even some of the articles that I wrote for the Buddhist Publication Society dealt with especially witnessing the great disparities in wealth and power between countries in the world and between different segments of society, and the ongoing ethnic conflict in Sri Lanka. So it alerted me to the importance of bringing in basic ethical principles of Buddhism to be able to diagnose and to help to ameliorate some of these great conflicts. Then after I came back to the United States back in 2002, for the first time I had access to the internet. In Sri Lanka, I could just use the computer, the internet for emails, but not to have a browser where I could see what is going on. And then I saw what was going on around the world, and this greatly sort of shocked me and even startled me. And I felt it's necessary to do something to address these problems, drawing upon basic Buddhist values, but not necessarily trying to justify an engaged Buddhist approach by giving doctrinal rationalizations to it. And to respond to this, I developed a concept I call this conscientious compassion, where compassion itself is a fundamental Buddhist value or attitude. But I added the prefix conscientious to mean that it's not enough just to witness what is going on and to send out benevolent thoughts. May they all be well, may they be safe, may they be free from suffering. But one feels a kind of call of conscience to do something to help to ameliorate the suffering that people are facing. And so one way that we decided to do this, and this was based on some of my own early experience in Sri Lanka, where in my early years, I was living in a very poor temple, or a temple in a very poor part of the country. And I experienced a lot of hunger and even sustained hunger over a longish period. And so that alerted me to the problem of hunger that faces so many millions of people around the world. And so that was one of the reasons why we decided to make global hunger the focal point of Buddhist global relief.